Guys, Rory Benjamin here, and today I've got a bit of a shorter video, but I'm going to be giving a little tip that I've been using recently to help me find the notes that are in the key of, say, a sample. So if you find a sample that you like and you don't have the MIDI for it, how do you go about, say, laying down the 808? Now, if you're more of a beginner producer, you may not have the ear to hear what's in key and what isn't. So I found this little tip to help. Now, I've seen people use Melodyne. If you don't know what Melodyne is, it's kind of a software that reads the wave file and tells you what notes are in the key and kind of gives you a MIDI file. Now, if you don't want to buy that application, because that probably cost about $200 or something, the base model of that application, you know, we always can go into Edison and detect pitch regions, which will give you an idea of what notes are in a key. But if you want to learn how to hear with your ear, which you'll see a lot of producers just drop in the 808 and you're like, how do they know that's right? And then you try to do it and you seem to not be able to figure it out. This is a little tip. So I've got some samples here, and I'm just going to be going through each of them as an example of how to find the key. Now, the little trick is, I find if you use a saw wave, sonically I find it very easy to tell if it's in key or not. So I'll leave a link in the description to the saw wave that I'm using. It's just this file here that I've just created. It's the default patch on Omnisphere, and yeah, it's just a saw wave. So I'll let you hear the loop. Now this one's going to be a bit harder to tell what's in key or not. So usually pad sound's going to be like the hardest, where guitar and piano are going to be pretty easy. I'd say like guitar is probably the easiest, then piano, but more pad sounds are a little bit more difficult. But we'll jump straight into this one. So I'll open up the saw. So then all I'm doing is just clicking in a random note. Now, rule of thumb usually says most scales, all minor and major scales, you can only be off by 1. So if it's just major or minor or Aeolian minor, you'll only, what I mean by if you click a note and it's not in the key, well then either G5 or F5 will be in key. So now we just use our ears. I'm just going to drag this out a little. So now, just from me listening, I can tell that G isn't in key. So I'm going to let you hear it and try to listen how G sounds. It sounds off. Just listen. It sounds quite harsh. When it sounds harsh, that means it's not in the key, most likely. So it sounds quite harsh. So if I shift it down either to F sharp or G sharp, both of these should be in key. And I can tell that F sharp is in key. So listen at G. And that's... So then now from here, I'd say G sharp is in key. So listen at G sharp. And it sounds in key. So now I can start drawing these in. And I'm just going to drop the velocity so you don't hear them. Now, let's see A. So all I'm doing is letting it play and I'm just clicking it. And I think A is in key. Now let's listen to A sharp. Let's see if A sharp's in key. So you can hear quite clearly that that sounds quite off compared to... So now, once you've got these two, now I can already tell that B's going to be in key. If you look at enough scales, you'll realize that it's kind of like this same pattern. So now... So I can tell that these two are in key. I'm just clicking notes on my MIDI keyboard. So you can really hear that F5 is off. So then I would say D isn't also in key, so I'll play a D. So I can tell straight away that C sharp's in key. It sounds very... and I'll just shift this down. So in a scale, there's 7 notes for major and minor scales. And there you go. There's all 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 notes, and that is the scale. Now you could go online. I'll link a website in the description that will tell you the website that I was talking about, scales and chords. And you type these in. So you just go down B, then we know A. So guys, it's saying that this is E major. So let me check that again. So this is the way that you can find the key. So then if you go on helpers, scale highlighting, and then you go to major, scale highlighting, E major, and if I go Alt B, you can see all these notes are in the scale. So then it's really easy to lay the bass line. When you lay in the bass line, all I do now is just follow these notes. So if you just lay the bass line. So it's that simple. Yeah, we'll do another one quickly. I'll finish off these last 2 and I'll get out of here. So let's do the next scale. Let's jump into it. So I can tell G sharp's in key. You could just... So just from playing around on my MIDI, I can tell that... Let me turn those down for you. So I'm just clicking... Whoa. So those are all the notes that are in this next scale. And just like that, you just play around, and over time, at first you may struggle with trying to what sounds right and what sounds wrong, but over time you'll just be able to hear it, and you'll hear it straight away. So we'll just do this last one. Now if you find one that's in key, always go back to reference it at first. So D's in there. Then let's see if C or C sharp is. C sharp, then I'm going to say E is going to be in D sharp one. So F isn't, let's go up to F sharp. So F sharp is in the key. Now let's see if G is. So now there's going to always be, you know, 1 or 2 notes in the scale that are going to be a bit harder to tell. So now when you're struggling here, so I can't really tell if it's G or G sharp that's in the scale. What I would do is go back to that B. So I don't think G sharp's in the scale, I think it's these notes. So that's the scale there, there's 7 notes. And that's how you do it. So really there's gonna be one one or two notes that are going to sound really strong, and you just got to play around until you can identify them. So in that case, I could easily identify B, and then I was struggling around to figure if G sharp or G was in the scale. But if you keep referencing B, you should be able to hear the difference. So in the description again, I'll be leaving this saw file, and I'll be leaving that link to that website, guys. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. I've got more tutorials and cookups coming. And yeah, that's going to be it for me, guys, and I'll see you.